Have you ever heard of a man who set out to kill the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but ended up becoming one of the greatest leaders in Islamic history? This is the true story of Umar ibn Al-Khattab, a man of strength, justice, and transformation. And it starts with hate. Before Islam, Umar was known for his power and his harshness. He was feared in Mecca. He hated Islam. He hated the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One day, in anger, he took his sword and said, "I'm going to kill Muhammad." But on his way, someone stopped him and said, "Before you go to Muhammad, why don't you check on your own sister? She has accepted Islam." Furious, Umar went straight to her house. He heard her reciting the Quran. He slapped her. But then he saw her bleeding, and something changed. He asked to see what she was reading. She said, "You are not clean. You cannot touch the Quran." So he washed himself. Then he read, "Taha, we have not sent down to you the Quran that you be distressed." His heart shook. He said, "Take me to Muhammad." He went to the house where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was hiding. Hamza and the companions were ready to fight, but the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Let him in." And then Umar entered, and he said the Shahada. The Muslims shouted, "Allahu Akbar," so loud that it echoed through Mecca. After his conversion, Islam changed. For the first time, Muslims prayed publicly in front of the Kaaba because Umar led them. He was fearless. When the Muslims made hijrah to Medina secretly, Umar didn't. He stood before the Quraysh and said, "Whoever wants his mother to lose her son or his wife to become a widow, let him meet me behind this valley." No one dared stop him. After the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's death, Umar became the second Caliph. He ruled with justice. He walked the streets at night, making sure no one slept hungry. He refused luxuries. He once said, "If a mule trips in Iraq, I fear Allah will ask me why I didn't pave the road." Under his leadership, Jerusalem was opened. Islam spread to Persia and the Roman Empire. He ruled an empire but lived like the poorest among them. One day a delegation from Persia came to see Umar. They were amazed by his lifestyle. They said, "We came thinking the Caliph was a king, but you live like a servant." He replied, "I am the servant of servants. I only seek Allah's pleasure." Umar was a man of extremes. He was powerful yet humble. He was strong yet gentle. He was strict yet merciful. He was angry yet peaceful. Once a man complained to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about Umar, saying he was too harsh. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam smiled and said, "Do you complain about Umar? He is like a thunderbolt. Allah uses him to remove mountains. So how can you dislike him?" Another time, some people were sitting in the shade discussing how they would like to be granted 3 wishes. Umar sat with them and said he had already been granted 3 wishes. They were astonished and asked, "How is that possible? Please tell us what they were." Umar said, "My first wish was to be granted martyrdom for the sake of Allah. My second wish was to be granted Allah's forgiveness, and my third wish is to be among those who Allah forgives." They said, "This is the only wish we wish for ourselves." So Umar shared with them the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are 3 qualities, whoever has them will have all of Jannah: a good character, a good character. Umar ruled for 10 years. He was stabbed by an enemy, but he continued to pray. He died as a martyr, facing his attacker, repeating the Shahada. When Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, may Allah be pleased with him, became the first caliph after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he appointed Umar as his deputy. When Umar took over as caliph, he kept Abu Bakr's appointment and continued to rely on his wisdom and advice. So Umar ibn Al-Khattab, the man who came to kill the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, became the man who protected his ummah. He became the man who spread Islam from Spain to India. He became the man who established one of the largest empires in history, but more importantly, he became the man who changed the course of human history. May Allah be pleased with Umar.